Welcome back to another video. This time we're going to cover the full official patch notes. And I have the game pulled up as well, so every time there's going to be something new, I can go ahead and show you guys. So first of all, of course, Gentle Criminal, technical, he's out. But we do have a new map added. So Chaos City version 2, and the stages do rotate for Chaos City version 2, then USJ, then the UI Island, then Neo Academia, and they'll just rotate right for your normal ranked, unranked matches, and then for your tutorial training custom, you can just pick whatever maps, right? So you don't have to worry about this rotation. They also added a feature to view logs for damage dealt and damage received, and I guess you can access it by switching tabs in the system menu during battle, so that's kind of cool, I guess. They added a feature to view details about each game rule on the game mode selection screen. They launched a 28-day login bonus campaign to celebrate surpassing 20 million downloads, and you'll notice that you'll just log in, you'll get this. The first, I believe, gives you 1,000 crystals the first day, so it's there for 62 days or something like that. Just make sure you guys log in, right? You only need to log in 28 days for the next 62, and then you get a lot of good goodies. You get 4 costumes, I believe I saw, and you get some other resources. So pretty cool stuff, don't miss that out, right? Just log in, that's all you gotta do. Added UI elements to the role screen, specifically the tuning slot information window, allowing players to view details on costumes other than the original color version. So I believe what this means is you're on the role screen, right, and you see the tuning costumes. I think now it shows you all of them. Before, I think it just showed the first one, the main costume. But now I think you can see the details of all the other costumes. Nice. We needed that, right, because it's a little extra sort of thing, right? You can click into a costume and then see, okay, these are the variations. Do I want to pull it? Do I have something I can use? So this is very good. Again, something that should have been added initially, but it's good that it's here now. Research Notebook. So they updated this. Now you can get past level 30 for Research Notebook. It's the thing that shows up above your name when you're queuing up for a match, right? You can get above 30 now, and they added number 3 mission. So you can now deal 15,000 damage to get you can get a mission to deal over 15,000 damage and 16 KOs. I believe it's like purple. It's like a purple title now. And they also added individual battle styles for the 10k damage title and the 12k, so 12 KOs rather. So now you can like use Deku, let's say Assault Deku, right? The yellow Assault Deku. You use him, and then you'll get this 12 KO banner with his picture on the side, right? Exactly what you saw for the previous. If you get their dupes, you can get that sort of their specific character title. Now you can do it for damage and KOs. So that's pretty cool, right? So they've updated Research Notebook. There's now a new mission. You can now have a title that you deal 15,000 damage, over 15,000 damage in a single battle, and achieve 16 KOs. I don't think it carries over. If you got it before, I don't think it'll carry over. Again, I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure I didn't get like these missions, even though I've completed it before. I don't think I've gotten it for the specific units, so keep that in mind. Players can obtain special nameplates by completing these missions. Yeah, it's the nameplates, the titles, right? That's what this is. And they increase the cap, so 30. It's no longer the case. I think I'm on 49 right now. So they have, I think, rewards up to level 200. So now I think you can pretty much go up to however you want, and you won't be stopped at 30. You'll keep getting rewards, which is super nice. That should have been in the game before, I think. But again, nice that it's here now. System adjustments. Adjusted to show the total value for certain attacks where damage amounts were previously not being aggregated. Enabled inventory management while using items even when playing with a controller. Okay, that's cool. I don't know exactly what this means, but I can't really try it either. I don't really play with controller. But it's good that they enabled inventory management while using items. Updated the visual effects when simultaneously recovering GP and HP to max for easier visual recognition. Okay, pretty solid. Adjusted the matchmaking logic to make it easier to match with players of similar ranks. Okay, I think they did this before, no? They did this before, but I guess it wasn't really working as intended. Okay, well, hopefully your matches will be a lot more fine-tuned to your rank. But they did do another adjustment to this. And now, before we get into the battle style adjustments, real quick, I just want to show the new map. So let me switch over to my training. So they changed this kind of how, like, you know, it looks at nighttime as opposed to daytime. They added more sort of a darker aesthetic, right? That's clear. I'm not the most proficient with Hawks, but he is one of the fastest to get around, right? So you can see what it looks like. So that's kind of how it looks, right? The train now looks kind of different. I think I messed up that up. Okay. But yeah, nighttime, new map, pretty cool, right? Let me reset my position. Okay, let's switch back to the battle styles. Now, updated the following quirk skills for carrying down players. I think what this means is if you're using a skill on a down player, now this will track it. And I think this is the perfect example, right? So Katsuki Bakugo, original quirk skill Gamma, Howitzer Impact, you can now carry it. So let me quickly switch over to my training. Let me make sure GP is off, or normal. Let me change it to Bakugo just to show it. Press OK. And okay, let me down this Ochako real quick, and then I can showcase. But basically, I think it means is, once they're downed, before, what you would do is you would kind of just, like that, go right past them. So you only get one tick on them. But now, it'll carry them. So you can drag people away, right? Which is super nice. Let's reset my position. Switch back to the screen. So yeah, so you can now carry down players, which is pretty cool. Katsuki Bakugo Original has it with his Howitzer Impact. Cluster Bakugo has it. Ochako Zero Satellites has it with her Beta, and then Cluster's Gamma. Eijiro Kirishima's Alpha, Shoto Aizawa's Beta, All for One Factor Fusion, I think that's the red one, and his Gamma, his Punch. So all of them can now carry units. I'm not going to show it for every player. It's the same thing that you saw with the Katsuki Bakugo Original that I showed. It's just, you can now carry down players, which is pretty cool. Now, the following quirk skills have been adjusted so they can now be deflected by shield-type quirk skills. Mount Lady. So, shield-type quirk skills. Let me quickly change to... Gentle. I believe he has a skill that has a beta, right? Okay. Let me use the beta, and then let me use Mount Lady here. While falling, so she has to jump. Okay, it might be difficult to show this, but anyways, it's gonna reflect, right? It's I can't really show it, but kind of like that. It reflects when they're falling as well. Okay, very cool. Glad that that's done. Let's turn this off. Put you back to still. Okay, let's switch back to our patch notes. So for essentially all of these guys, when they're falling, the beta, the Mount Lady. For Gatling is Gamma when he's falling, so it's after he grabs someone, he's in the falling motion, right? Izuku Midoriya, One for All, it's his beta. It's his hold beta, or if you tap beta and tap it twice, right? It's the extra one where he just jumps into the air and falls to the ground. That can now be reflected. His Gamma as well, the locked on target auto tracking dumb move. That is also now going to be reflected. It can be deflected by shield type quirk skills, obviously in time for Gentle. And Eijiro Kishima's Gamma, Red Burst. So this is the yellow one, I believe. So yeah, his Gamma as well. Next we have Overhaul. His quirk skill Alpha, Underworld Crusher, has increased range. His quirk skill Beta, Piercing Derrick Spear, has increased falling speed. His quirk skill Gamma, Coffin of Absolute Shackles, has increased falling speed. And the reason they made these adjustments, as the battle style lacked options for attacking airborne opponents, the range of quirk skill Alpha was extended, okay, in order to make combat easier, makes sense. The falling speed also increased to allow for quicker use of quirk skill Beta and Gamma while airborne. So you can use it a lot faster. So when he's falling, he'll use it a lot faster. Let's go ahead and see how that looks. Let's go ahead and swap into him. It's original. Where is he at? Right here. So let's see. Yeah, that feels a bit further. It definitely feels a bit further. Let me jump up here. Let's get up onto a ledge real quick. Okay, I can't climb that. Let's get up onto a ledge and let's jump down. Yeah, he feels a lot more heavier now. Like, he really falls down. So let's go ahead and do Gamma. That's how it looks, right? You can now fall faster. You're not going to notice if you're jumping in the air. But if you're really, like, high up, you'll really fall down, right? Let's see if I can get a better showing of it. You can't climb these, can you? You can. Okay. Go all the way to the top. And yeah, you really just fall down, right? So that's pretty cool. Let's go ahead and just hit the training menu, switch back to our patch notes. So yeah, he's now been buffed. He has pretty cool stuff going on for him. Okay, next we move on to Twice. So his quirk skill Beta, they added an HP gauge for that and his special action. So his clones now show an HP gauge. And I went over this in my other video, but his quirk skill Gamma, Foot Boost, now has increased gauge amount and increased reload speed. So you can use it one more time, and the reload speed has increased. But the penalty reload has still increased as well. So there is a slight nerf, but he does have an extra count, right? And if you're using it effectively, this is essentially a buff. Reason for adjustments: an HP display for clones was added to make it easier for players to estimate how long each clone is able to fight after spawning. Thank God. I really wanted this, both as an enemy and, you know, if you're playing twice, I mean, it'd be nice to know how much your clones can take. The gauge amount and reload speed for Quirk Skill Gamma will also increase, allowing for enhanced mobility and making it easier to maneuver during combat. Okay. Now let's head on over to twice. Alright, perfect. So as you can see, there it is. You can see a little sliver of HP above him, right? So that's twice clone, right? So yeah. Level 1, level 9, he still has a little bit of HP. But yeah, that's basically twice. His clones now have an HP meter, which is super cool. Okay, let's go back to our patch notes. So that's twice. So now we have Kotsky Bakugo original, the original one. His Quirk Skill Alpha, AP shot has increased range. His Beta, improvised grenades, now adjusted to allow for cancellation by using Quirk Skill Beta again while the skill is active. Okay. And of course, we went over this in the previous video. His Gamma has decreased damage dealt during the ticks, the spinning. When he's spinning around, right, it has less damage. Reason for adjustments: due to the rise of characters who excel in aerial combat, the range of Quirk Skill Alpha was extended, very much similar to the overhaul. Quirk Skill Beta was also adjusted to make it easier to land consecutive hits. To maintain balance, the damage inflicted with Quirk Skill Gamma was reduced, as previous adjustments had made it easier to land a full string of hits. Very true. Okay, good. So let's check it out. Increased range, and you can cancel his Beta. Let's go ahead and switch back to the game. Let's go ahead and swap into you, Bakugo. So yeah, you can just like rapid fire it. That's pretty cool. Instead of waiting for each time, yeah, you can do that. His range now goes pretty far. You can hit people from pretty far, right? So pretty nice. And here's just Gamma, right? You saw there's one tick. Before it would have been 4, but now you'll just see 1 tick. I think I have tuning, so that's why his Gamma does a bit more, but generally he does 1 damage. As you saw, he did 2, right? So just 1 extra damage. He does 2 per tick, and then the final damage remains unchanged. But yeah, that's Bakugo. Let's reset my position. Let's go back to the application. Dabi Crazy Torch. His Gamma adjusted so that the massive explosion can be triggered manually by holding down the button. Also remove the initial self-damage taken upon activation. Continuous self-damage during activation remains unchanged. So he'll still take HP damage while it's active, but he no longer takes it upon using it for the first time, and he can now manually trigger the big explosion. Reason for adjustments: in order to make the battle sound more user-friendly, the initial self-damage taken when using Quirk Skill Gamma has been removed. As I said previously, discouraged players from using it. The massive explosion can also be manually triggered, while previously it only triggered when the gauge reached 0. Where previously it only triggered when the gauge reached 0. Note that the continuous self-damage taken while the skill is active will still occur. So you'll still lose HP while the skill is going down. Let's switch back and check it out. So we have Crazy Torch Dabi. He's here. So his level 1 Gamma, right? Let's see HP. Nothing happens, but now slowly ticking down. You see it, right? In the bottom left, slowly ticking down. And if I hold it now, you can fully use it up and trigger the explosion. Pretty nice. Now he has a bit more purpose to using his Gamma, right? And now you can trigger it, and you won't trigger any HP down, but it'll slowly tick down. And then if you really need to use it to like get people off you, you can now just manually trigger it. So pretty cool stuff. That's Dabi, right? Pretty nice. Let's reset our position. Let's head back to the patch notes. Hawks original is the Blue Hawks. Quirk Skill Alpha, we went over this as well. Decreased damage during normal use, enhanced tracking during normal use, reduced rapid fire speed during normal use, and reduced gauge. So yeah, also reduced ammo count, right? Or that's gauge, yeah. So his gauge is the ammo count. So he has less alpha ammo, right? Less alpha he can use. The gauge has been reduced. The damage has been decreased, but it's increased tracking. So they buffed the tracking for it, but they did reduce the rapid fire speed during normal use. Okay. His Beta increased slashing damage during free flight. Reason for adjustments: the tracking performance of Quirk Skill Alpha during standard use has been enhanced, allowing players to more easily hit opponents who are dashing. To maintain balance, the damage output has been reduced. Additionally, the slashing attack Quirk Skill Beta has offered little reward relative to the difficulty involving in landing a hit, so the damage value has been increased to improve balance. Okay, so it's not as, I guess, not as fast as before, but they did just buff the damage since I guess they've seen that it's not been landing as easily. So they improved the damage. Okay. So his Beta is increased damage. and his alpha has been debuffed in terms of damage and the amount, but enhanced tracking, so you can land it easier. Let's go ahead and check it out. Switch my monitor. Let's go ahead and pick. Here he is. So here's his beta. I have not used Blue Hawks, so I can't control him at all. All right, let's try that again. So yeah, so that's kind of how it looks, just like that. And if I can trigger it by slashing him. So yeah, that's that. That's Hawks. His beta is increased. His alpha, less damage, less ammo. And as you notice, like if you tap it, right, that's how it looks. If you keep it down, that's how it looks. Slightly slower, feels slightly slower, right? But it is better at tracking, so you will land more consistently. That is Hawks. Let's head on over to the next one. Tenya Ida Original, his quirk skill beta, increased dash distance and attack range. So he's been buffed. I mean, I haven't been seeing many Idas, but I don't think he needed a buff. Increased dash distance and attack range for his beta. Reason for adjustment, both the travel distance and attack range of quirk skill beta were increased with the aim of improving damage output and survivability. Okay, let's go ahead and select Ida, which, I mean, every time I face a good Ida, I always get stomped anyways. But yeah, it looks like you can go pretty far now. You can get pretty far now. So yeah, that's Tenya Ida. Pretty cool stuff. Let's go back to our patch notes. So dash distance and attack range has been increased. For Shinso Original, Quirk Skill Alpha Binding Cloth, adjusted to deal increased damage when slamming an opponent down from a high position. So when you grab him and you slam him down, you do more damage. Reason for adjustments, adjustments were made in order to create a strategic advantage when landing Quirk Skill Alpha on airborne opponents and to enhance the satisfaction of slamming them into the ground. Okay. I mean, if you're still facing a good Shinso, it's still pretty annoying. But let's see. So yeah, 50, 51. Again, I don't know how the values were before, but right now, that's how it looks. That's Shinso. Pretty nice. Let's reset our position, go to training menu. Let's head on over to the next character. Mount Lady Quirk Skill Alpha Spike Knuckle, adjusted to allow for continuous attacks while holding down the button. So you can hold it down and you can do continuous attacks now. Before, I think it just did like a double. You just hit like do twice and then it does it again. Special action Gigantification, adjusted the camera view while gigantified. Reason for adjustments, Quirk Skill Alpha and the special action were adjusted to improve their usability. Special action and Alpha. Okay, let's go ahead and select Mount Lady. So, yeah, you can now continuously hold it down, which is super nice. Before, I think it was something like that. You just do it twice, and then you do it twice. But now, you can do it a lot faster, and you can just keep holding it down, which is super nice. So now, I think the camera is much further away. So you can see a lot better, right? And this is going to be very annoying. She can rapid fire these. I guess it is slower when she's gigantified. So that makes it more fair. But that's Mount Lady. Pretty sick. Pretty cool stuff. Mr. Compress. Special action Magic Resurrection. Increase HP recovery amount while carrying an ally. So if you just tag them when they're still alive, right? You increase the HP recovery amount, which is super nice. And just to make it easier to transition from an aerial melee attack to a ground melee attack. Reason for adjustments, the recovery rate was increased from 5 to 20 HP per second to better facilitate the character's support role. Wow, so he gets 15 extra HP per second. So per second, you're getting a lot more value out of him now, while also improving the usability of melee attacks. Okay, let's check it out. I can't really show the other one, but when you use Compress, right, you just use a special action, you can pop people in. Now you recover 20 HP, so you can actually really make use of that. That's per second, in like 5 seconds, you heal 100 HP. That's really good for recovering HP now, so you can use it a lot for that purpose. Pretty cool. So now air melee, and then... Okay, air melee and ground melee? Is that what it does? Yeah, I think that's a bit faster, right? So you can land it a lot easier. Yeah, because up close, he really has to use his melees. And then you'd pop his alphas. Let me reset position. So there's air melee and ground melee. Okay. Pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff. So yeah, so it's easier for him to land melees now if you're doing an air melee and then going into a ground melee attack. Himiko Toga. Special action transform, adjusted to prevent the transformation from ending while using a quirk skill. Reason for adjustments, we observed a tendency for transformation to end prematurely while a quirk skill is still active, so adjustments are made to improve usability. Okay, so now, while you use her, and if it runs out, you're still fine, because you can finish the quirk skill, right? That's what it said? Here's Toga. Okay, let me use special action. This might take some time to do, but let's see. Okay, here it is. We're getting close to being done. Here is it. And as you saw, I was in the middle of it. I finished it, and then it fixed it. Oh, Coda, you can actually see Coda in the training? Yeah, he's there. Okay. Anyways, pretty cool stuff, right? Pretty cool stuff. So she has slight better usability now, right? Slight better usability. Denki Kaminari, special action electrification, increased reload speed. Reason for adjustments. Adjustments were made for balance, as the time required for the quirk skill could be used again was longer than that of other battle styles. Yeah, this... Again, I went over this in my other video as well. For Denki, his electrification has increased reload speed. Let's see if we can showcase that. Let's go ahead and pick Denki. Here he is. So... Okay, I realize I have the full thing on, but it's from 14 seconds to 9, so it just refills faster. I'm not going to probably show that, but yeah, his special action refills faster by 5 seconds. Denki Kaminari Original, Quirk Skill Alpha, so this is also what I went over in the other video. Reduce damage, adjusted to make it easier to knock back opponents, or in other words, increase the knockdown value, right? The down power, which is super nice. He needed that. It's a nerf, although if you want to knock back opponents, right? Knockback is still good. Either way, it's good. He can't one-shot you anymore, so this is big. Reason for adjustments. A trend was observed where players would stun an opponent with Quirk Skill Gamma, before following up with several hits of Quirk Skill Alpha to instantly knock down opponents, particularly those with 250 HP or less. As a result, Quirk Skill Alpha, a primary source of direct damage, has been adjusted. Thank you for finally putting this in the game, devs. I appreciate you. So Denki Kaminari will no longer be the menace that he is, right? His knockdown value has gone up, his down power has gone up, so he can no longer do that infinite stun combo and then alpha you to oblivion, which is super nice. Denki Kaminari Lightning, this is the other Denki, his Quirk Skill Gamma, Lightning Way. Adjustments now grant super armor upon hitting an opponent. Reason for adjustments, by granting super armor upon a successful hit, it will now be easier to land successive attacks on multiple opponents. Okay, let's check that out. Let's go ahead and select Denki. His Gamma, right? So yeah, he does have, I think, slightly more. Okay. So if we were to do it, so now he has super armor, and that way he can continue going, right? Otherwise he might be knocked back. I guess quality of life for this guy, so that's pretty cool. Head on over to the next one, Lady Nagant. Lady Nagant, the primary focus of my previous video. Quirk Skill Alpha, reduce damage, reduce ammo count. Quirk Skill Beta, reduce damage. Quirk Skill Gamma, reduce ground damage, reduce reload speed, and reduce ammo count at level 9 to 1. She now only has 1 Gamma. Her Alpha reduced, her Beta reduced damage, right? Alpha reduced damage count as well. Reduced damage for her Gamma, reduced reload speed, and now only has 1 ammo count. Her special action, reduced damage. She can no longer one-shot with her special action. It does 230 damage on a headshot, so you can no longer one-shot players. And her air melee attack, reduced forwards movement speed. Oh, okay. Reduced forward movement speed. Reason for adjustments. Despite multiple previous adjustments, both usage and win rates remain significantly higher compared to other battle styles, prompting a comprehensive rebalancing. A behavior was also identified where chaining air melee attacks allowed for faster movement than a standard dash. So movement speed is also adjusted to align with other battle styles. Okay, so you no longer can use the air melee traversal anymore. But let's go ahead and check out Nagant, because this is one of the most... Let's go ahead and max 9 everything, just to showcase. First of all, air melees. Yeah, look at that. You can no longer do the forward traversal distance, but yeah, you can't even approach them as fast. You have to really position yourself close and then attack them. So yeah, she's not going to be as annoying anymore. So the alpha, the air melee and then gamma is not going to be as annoying. Does it not do HP damage? Oh no, it does, it does. Yeah. But yeah, way less now, right? Beta, less damage, and she only has 1 gamma now. And it does less damage. Yeah, Lady Nagant has been nerfed. The day has finally arrived. Okay, Izuku Midoriya, 1 for all, another major nerf. His HP is reduced to 250. He has to pick and choose his fights now. And his alpha has reduced ammo count. So he no longer can just keep spamming them. So he has to be a bit more wary of his alpha and when he's picking fights. Reason for adjustments. At the start of Season 17, an enhancement to the super armor effect was implemented, resulting in higher average damage and a higher win rate compared to other battle styles. Given this battle style's high mobility and proficiency at hiding via its special action... Okay, if you're in higher lobbies, this is still like... This is kind of worthless. You're not really going to hide, but sure, he does have high mobility. We reduced HP to 250 to improve balance. Adjustments were also made to the reload speed for Corkscroll Alpha, a primary source of direct damage, to reduce its frequency of use. The nerf everyone has been waiting for. Another one. 1 for all Deku. So right now, max, he only has 7 counts. I think it's reduced by 1 across the board. So you can only do a few. Let me do this so I can just... So yeah, that's his alphas. You can no longer spam it. As for his HP, as you can see, down to 250. The Deku nerf everyone wanted is finally here. Let's go ahead and go to the next one. Kurogiri Original Corkscroll Beta. Adjusted so that opponents in an invincible state are unable to be warped. Okay, probably not going to show that, but essentially, when you use your warp kit on an opponent that's invincible, they can no longer be warped. Reason for adjustments. We observed that a specific tactic was becoming overly powerful, which involved repeatedly hitting an opponent with Corkscroll Beta to knock them back and trigger invincibility before warping them outside the safe area to KO them via zone damage. Nice, okay. This adjustment was implemented to reduce the frequency of such occurrences, so you can no longer do that if they're invincible. This is specifically if they just kept doing it, so they kept doing beta all the way until their opponent reaches the zone. So they remove that. You can still get hit with a well-timed beta if it's the end of Storm, right? End of like the match. Storm is closing in. It's a very small area left, like a small safe area. You can still do a pretty good timed warp gate. But for now, it's no longer going to allow you, if you're invincible, to knock your opponents away. Nice. Good buff. Or good nerf, right? Good for the game. Armored All Might Original, his alpha has been reduced. The damage has been reduced. Reason for adjustments, this battle style tended to have higher average... Actually, you know what? I can, let me show this real quick, because I can show it. Let's go ahead and select Kurogiri. Yeah. So yeah, as you can see, no longer teleports it. No longer teleports it. Pretty nice. It's Kurogiri. Okay. I think the next one was Armored All Might. His damage has been nerfed, right? So his alpha, 40 only, 43, 68 if you zoom in, 43. I don't know if the HP damage itself from his burn has been nerfed, but the rest of it has. So he does less damage on his alpha. Something to keep in mind. His Corkscroll Alpha derivative Flame Bullet Shot reduced damage. Reason for adjustments. The battle style tended to have higher average damage and a higher win rate compared to other technical role battle styles. In response, some adjustments were made to Corkscroll Alpha, a primary source of direct damage, while maintaining the same gameplay feel. So he just does less damage on his alpha. Mirio Togata, the guy that permeated through all the nerfs. Corkscroll Alpha, Phantom Smash, reduced damage. Reason for adjustments: this battle style tended to have higher average damage and higher survivability across all rank tiers. In response, some adjustments were made to quirk skill alpha, which allows for quickly dealing damage in a short window while maintaining the same gameplay feel. So if we check him out real quick, go to the full monitor, let's go ahead and pick his alpha. Where's he at? Mirio. So yeah, less damage across the board. His alpha does less damage, but other than that, he's left pretty much untouched. Again, I think he survived a lot of the nerfs. He's kind of just living rent-free right now, right? Cluster Bakugo. Now this guy got the biggest buff for this patch season. Quirk Skill Alpha, AP Shot Cluster, increased ammo count, increased damage. Quirk Skill Beta, Nitro Cluster, increased damage for both renditions of his beta. Quirk Skill Gamma, increased ammo count at level 9. He has a second howitzer impact now. Reason for adjustment: while Quirk Skill Alpha deals significant damage in aim mode, by comparison the damage output of other easier to hit skills was low, making it difficult to knock down opponents. To create a more user-friendly battle style, overall damage output has increased and late game mobility performance has been improved. Let's go ahead and check him out real quick. We have Cluster Bakugo. Here he is. So as you can see, he's got a second Gamma, and I believe he only gets that at level 9. Number of rounds, level 9. So he has a second Gamma now, so you could do... Nope. Let's go up. And we can do another one. So, pretty cool stuff, right? His Alpha now does more damage. His Beta as well does more damage. And so overall, this guy got a major buff, right? He's pretty good now. Very usable. Let's go over to the next bug fixes. We're adding up into the last sort of section, bug fixes. We have Shinso fixed an issue where attacks would sometimes fail to connect when canceling a finishing attack against a downed opponent. Okay, so you try and finish a downed opponent, and then you try to do an attack, but it fails. Okay, so that's been fixed. If you play Shinso, good for you. Izuku Midoriya 1-for-all original. Fix an issue where canceling a ground melee attack by dodging would sometimes allow the ground melee attack to chain again. What? No way, really? Fix your canceling a ground melee attack by dodging? They actually fixed his melee as well? Oh my god. I need to see this for myself. Let's check it out in here. Okay, I have Deku right now. I have twice on HP. Okay, here it is. Okay, let me see if I can get him closer to the wall. Alright, so it looks like it's no longer going to be a thing. Yeah, they patched it. It's out of the game. He can no longer melee loop. That is crazy. Never saw the day this would happen. Wow. They patched out his melee loop, made his HP 250, decreased his alpha damage, removed his melee loop, and Nagan also got gutted. Nagan and 1-for-all Deku are no longer going to be as toxic as they were. Yeah, his melee loop was completely gone. I messed it up there, but you can no longer do the melee loop. That is insane. And that's it for the patches, right? That's the last one. Yeah, that's the last one. Wow. I did not know that's a thing. That is insane. But that will do it for the video. This man right here has got severely nerfed this patch. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff.